Today we are ranking the 25 most dangerous animals on planet Earth, starting with the Cape buffalo. Okay, these guys are located in sub-Saharan Africa, which means they're in like savannas and woodlands, right? They're nicknamed the Black Death, okay? The Black Death, because they're known for their extreme like unpredictability. They'll just charge you down for no reason, basically. They're known to circle back to and basically run your ass over multiple times to make sure you're donezo, okay? They hunt and track humans. You heard me right. They will track and hunt humans down, which is just absurd, okay? So they've never been successfully domesticated, and that's why they're so volatile. These guys are pretty scary, okay? It would be very difficult to outrun one of these guys. However, I think I could like jump on its back, right? And then like grab its horns and kind of steer it around and ride it off into the sunset. So I'm going to say like barely dead on this one. I think there's a pretty good chance I'm able to like maneuver this guy around and really grab the bull by the horns, if you know what I mean. All right. Anyway, next up we have the scariest roundworm. Okay, dude, worms are scary. And just a heads up, okay, the Cape buffalo, that one was tame, but we're getting into some worms and stuff like that. So listen, if you're squeamish about stuff like that, I highly recommend clicking off the video right now because it's not good from here on out, all right? So these guys are worldwide, which is terrifying, and they're a parasitic infection where they live in your small intestines, right? So that's really scary. They can cause intestinal blockages and even migrate up into your lungs, okay? So they cause what's called Leofler syndrome, which is basically respiratory failure and fever, which is not good. Listen, these guys freak me out and they kill 4,500 people annually. I don't like parasites. They really scare me. The eggs can survive in soil for up to 10 years. So I'm going to say very dead. Okay, I'm going to say very dead on this one. I don't quite know how I would not, because the eggs are going to be in the soil, right? How would I even know if I've ingested them until it's far too late? So we're good on that one. Next up, we have the great white shark, okay? We have the big old great white shark. Now, everybody knows what a great white shark is. They're quite terrifying, but listen, I'm not gonna die. Under no circumstances do I die to a great white. And listen, it's very simple. You just don't go near the beach, okay? You just stay away from the water and you can't possibly die to a great white. It's just that simple. I mean, these guys are in coastal waters of South Africa, Australia, United States, so a lot of places, including Mexico, okay? And listen, the real threat from them is massive blood loss because they just take a bite out of you and you're fucking donezo, right? So they have an organ called the ampullae of Lorenzini that detects the electrical heartbeats of their prey, which is pretty terrifying. And yeah, I mean, their attacks often cause they often cause attacks because of mistaken identity. They're not trying to eat you, right? Most of the times that people are attacked by sharks, it's not because the shark wants to kill a person, it's because they mistake you for prey that they would normally eat. So you really don't have to worry about it for the most part. Stay out of the water, don't look like a baby seal, and you're good. Okay, next up we have something that's absolutely terrifying, and that's gonna be snails, right? These little guys right here, and I hear you, you're like, why would I be afraid of a snail? And listen, I understand, but these guys are terrifying. They're in Africa, Asia, and South America, and they cause a disease called schistosomiasis, which is snail fever, okay? And the disease is caused by parasitic flatworms. They penetrate skin and then enter the bloodstream, right? And then they lay eggs and trigger massive immune responses, basically scarring your liver and your bladder. So they kill 20,000 people a year annually, which is only second to malaria in terms of the devastating global parasitic impact of these guys, right? So the snails themselves don't kill you, but they are a huge factor in the larvae entering your system. Okay, so next up, oh, you did, that was a little surprise for you, okay, right there. Next up is humans, okay? Humans, oh wait, we need to rank the snail, my bad, hold on, you'll have to wait to see that wonderful picture. So the snail, where do we rank the snail? The snails are also, I'm going to say, not dead. Listen, there's just no shot I ever get in the water near a parasitic little snail guy, okay? It's just not going to happen, so we don't have to worry about that. Next up, we have humans. Now, humans, listen, I'm surrounded by them daily, unfortunately, and humans in general are very scary, okay? They kill you, they do war, they transmit disease. Humans are just bad stuff in general. I would like to avoid humans at all costs, but frankly, you can't avoid them. So we're probably going to die to a human. Listen, if you were to get killed by anything on this list, I almost feel like human beings would be the highest. So I'm going to say super dead. Now, I can wrestle a guy pretty good. I'm been known to wrestle and tumble around, but I don't know, dude. Guns and stuff. Listen, anyway. Next up, we have the seat fly, I think. The CC fly, that's how you say that? So it's this thing. Yeah, it's disgusting. I know it's disgusting. Listen, I took it off your screen. You don't have to look at it, but frankly, they're horrifying. I hate them. I hate even looking at them. So these guys are in 36 countries in sub-Saharan Africa. So basically, just don't go to Africa and you don't have to worry about these guys. But they cause African sleeping sickness, okay? And African sleeping sickness is a parasite that attacks the central nervous system, okay? It attacks your central nervous system and it disrupts your sleep-wake cycle, leading to daytime lethargy and nighttime insomnia, followed by a coma. Oh boy. Without treatment, the mortality rate is 100%. You are guaranteed to die if you don't get treatment from this little fucker. So they're pool feeders, which means that they saw into your skin and lap up your blood. Delicious, okay? They're attracted to moving vehicles in dark colors, especially blue for some reason. I couldn't tell you why. Now, where do we rank this guy? How likely am I to die to a little CC fly? I would say not incredibly likely because frankly, I don't plan to go to Africa anytime soon. So I think we're going to say not dead. As long as I don't go to Africa, we should be straight chilling. Next up, we have one of the most terrifying things on this list, in my opinion, and that would be the cone snail. Listen, this guy is holding one, which if you know anything about the cone snail, you know that this is a insane thing to do. Okay, this guy is lucky to be alive. So the cone snail is a tropical Indo-Pacific snail that lives on reefs. So they're also found in Florida, unfortunately. Another reason not to go to Florida and South Africa. So they're also called the cigarette snail. Now, listen, I love me a good cigarette. I haven't smoked nicotine in like 5 years though, so no cigarettes for me, especially not cigarette snails. And they fire a disposable venom-filled harpoon, basically, okay? So they shoot out a thing and stab you and inflict you with their venom. Now, this venom is insane, okay? It is a complex mix that will block various ion channels in the nervous system, basically leading to instant paralysis, okay? Which, listen, these guys are found in water, right? They're in the water, so you get stabbed by a cone snail and you don't realize because often it's just like a tiny prick in your skin, and then you get paralyzed and you drown in the water, okay? Listen, it's dangerous, all right? The harpoon is powerful enough to pierce a standard wetsuit. And listen, scientists have used their potent venom to go ahead and develop thousands of painkillers. So these guys are terrifying. The cone snail is really scary, okay? It's one of those things that keeps you awake at night when you're like 7 years old. Now, how likely are we survive a cone snail incident? Listen, if we actually get stuck by one, I think we're very likely dead. However, we just, again, don't have to go in the ocean. It's crazy how many of these things you can avoid just by not going places, all right? It's just that simple. Next up, we have the assassin bug, okay? Otherwise known as the kissing bug, okay? These are not the most like terrible looking guys. They don't look that bad, but what they do to you is pretty fucked up. So they cause Chang's disease, and basically what this does is it lives on the bug's face, right? And they like to rub their face into the bite wound, which causes a megacolon, which is like you're basically your stomach gets huge and your intestines become distended, okay? And it also enlarges your heart. Now, this can stay dormant in you for 20 years. For 20 years, you can have this disease and not even know it, caused by this little freak right here, okay? And they're called the kissing bug because they prefer to bite the soft tissue around your lips, okay? If you live in Texas, you have probably seen one of these before. I see them all the time, but I didn't know how dangerous they were. Only some assassin bugs are kissing bugs, so I don't know how much you really have to worry. But considering I live by these guys, which is terrifying in a way, I also have never died to one yet, okay? There is now a small part of me that is worried for the rest of my life that I have the fucking disease that they give you, and I don't even know about it. But listen, I haven't died to him yet. We're going to say barely dead, okay? Because I live in such close proximity to these little fuckers, the risk is real. Charles Darwin is believed to have died from the disease that these things cause, which is insane. There you go. Nice little fact for you. And next up, we have the humble dog. Okay, the humble dog, the little dog. Now, why on earth are dogs accounting for, why are they the most dangerous animal on the planet? Okay, and let me tell you why. Listen, it's quite simple. They carry rabies, okay? Nearly all human rabies transmissions are from dogs, which is insane, okay? And rabies is pretty much 100% guaranteed fatal if you catch it, okay? I think there's like maybe 10 people on the planet who have survived it, and one girl who survived without regular treatment, I believe, and she's like a miracle case. It's literally never happened again, all right? So, listen, once symptoms appear with rabies, you're cooked, you're fried, it's over with. And if you don't know what rabies is, I mean, listen, it actually causes me a lot of anxiety because it's just one of those things where if you get it, you know you're dead, like you're donezo. It's over for you if you get rabies. Now, it causes hydrophobia, so you get afraid of water and you can't drink and your throat spasms and you basically freak out and are terrified of water. It kills 30,000 people annually, and only 15 people have ever survived. So yeah, so bats are the primary carriers globally, but in the United States, domestic dogs are the #1 transmitter of rabies to people. So, listen, rabies, you're super fucking dead, okay? Let's be real. If you catch rabies, it's done. You're iced. Sorry, better luck next time. GG, go next. Dogs are everywhere in the United States, so it's a terrifying idea. That's why if you ever get bit by a dog, you should immediately go to the hospital, okay? Next up, scorpions. As you just saw, we got the little scorpion guys, okay? Now, what's so scary about scorpions, you might say? Well, everybody knows scorpions sting you like crazy and they're little evil demons. Now, every continent except for Antarctica has scorpions. The deadliest are in North Africa, the Middle East, and India. Excuse me. The Indian red and deathstalker species have neurotoxic stings, and they cause your nervous system to shut down, essentially very similar to like the cone snail, and it leads to heart failure and your lungs filling with fluid because your nerves aren't working the way they're supposed to. So they're responsible for only around 3,300 deaths per year, which is not that bad. And their venom is one of the most expensive liquids on Earth at $39 million a gallon. So, hey, if you want to start farming scorpion venom, there might be a lucrative business for you. Okay. Anyway, scorpions, listen, they're everywhere. You can get stung by the ones in Texas, I think, and be fine. So as long as you don't go to these places where these super deadly ones are, again, not dead. Plus, you can just stomp on the little fuckers, okay? Next up, we have the Brazilian wandering spider, okay? I'm sure you've heard about these guys before. They're famous, okay, because they are the most venomous or deadliest poisonous, I think it's venomous, yeah, venomous spiders on the planet, okay? The Brazilian wandering spider is the most venomous spider on the planet. They're sometimes exported globally through banana shipments, so that's terrifying. I've been eating a lot of bananas on 75 hard, okay? So it's no good. I don't want to see a Brazilian wandering spider in my banana. Anyway, they're highly aggressive. They have a defensive posture that they'll jump into, and their venom causes a loss of muscle control and priapism, which is painful permanent erections. That's right. The spider will make you 75 hard to death. There you go. So, what do we think about the spiders? Listen, for me personally, kind of dead. Okay, if you get bit, you're probably iced. If I get bit, I'm gonna die to the spider. It's just that simple. However, I'm eating a lot of bananas, so it's more likely to happen than like a lot of people, I guess, but still very rare, so we're gonna put it in kinda dead. I think I'm much more likely to encounter a kissing bug or be run over by a Cape buffalo than to actually get bit by a wandering spider. Hopefully, okay? We can only hope, right? Next up, we have the golden dart frog, okay? The golden poison dart frog. These guys look pretty cute. I actually really love the way these guys look. They're very cool animals, but they live in a small patch of rainforest in the Pacific coast of Colombia and can kill you. Okay, so how do they kill you? They cause something called it's a batrachotoxin, okay? So basically, it locks sodium channels in the open position, preventing nerves from sending signals. And the result is total heart failure and respiratory shutdown. Lovely. A single frog contains enough poison to kill 10 to 20 men, okay? They're only 2 inches long and they are that deadly. Now, it's the most poisonous vertebrae on Earth, and we're going to have to put this guy in probably not dead, okay? I'm going to say not dead. The reason I say this is because they lose their toxicity in captivity because they don't eat the specific Colombian beetle that they need to produce the chemicals, right? To actually poison you. So as long as I don't encounter one in Colombia, which I have no plans to go to, okay? I think I'm going to be pretty safe. Next up, we have polar bears. Everybody loves a good polar bear, right? These guys are cute but deadly and actually terrifying. They're so big, it's insane, okay? So they live in the Arctic Circle, Canada, Russia, Greenland, Norway, Alaska, and they are the world's largest land carnivore. They do view humans as prey, which is never a good thing, okay, for us poor little people, all right? Now, if a grizzly bear is a fighter, a polar bear is an assassin. They stalk you for days. They will stalk you and hunt you down. They see you as prey to be hunted. I cannot stress that enough. So their fur is actually transparent, not white, and their skin is black to absorb heat. So that's interesting. And they're marine mammals and can swim for days at a time without resting. Now, the polar bear. The polar bear is absolutely super uber killing me. Listen, I don't have any plans to go to Canada, Russia, Greenland, Norway, Alaska, but I mean, with the way things are going, I may be enlisted and sent to Greenland, and there I might encounter a polar bear, and frankly, you're not getting away from a polar bear. I think they can run like 40 miles an hour tops, or like even faster than that, so that's terrifying. No shot. Okay, next up, the mosquito. Listen, mosquitoes are insanely deadly, and we just don't even think about that most of the time, okay? Mosquitoes are all over the world. They are a global pandemic, except for Antarctica and a few small islands. Now, they cause all sorts of diseases, from malaria to dengue to yellow fever, and malaria is the biggest one. It's a parasite that invades the liver and destroys red blood cells. Dengue is a virus that causes a high fever and internal bleeding, okay? So they're the undisputed champion of death. They kill 1 million people a year alone. Just mosquitoes kill 1 million of people a year, okay? They are attracted by lactic acid and the heat signature of your body, so that's pretty bad. However, only females bite people, which I did not know, okay? Only female mosquitoes bite people. Males eat the flower of the nectar of flowers, okay? So mosquitoes, listen, super dead. Frankly, we don't deal with as many mosquito diseases in the United States. If you plan to leave the United States, they vaccinate you for these diseases that you might catch, like malaria. And it's not that bad, but they are still incredibly deadly. And out of everything on this list, I am way more likely to come into contact with a mosquito than I am like a polar bear. Okay, so absolutely super deadly. Okay, next up, we have hippos, okay? Hippos look really cute, and we don't think of them as deadly animals here in the United States. However, listen, if you live in Africa, you definitely think of hippos as deadly monsters, all right? So why? Why are hippos so scary? Well, it's pretty simple. They only live in sub-Saharan Africa, but they are massive. They have huge tusks, and they are very, 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 very territorial, okay? They are the most dangerous large land animal in Africa, and their yawn is not a sign of sleepiness, okay? You see them open their mouth all the time. That is a threat display. They're showing off their teeth and basically saying, don't fuck with me or your head is going to get crushed like a watermelon in between my massive jaws. That's what your mom said last night. Anyway, listen, I'm not going to Africa, okay? They're in the zoo. If one does not, get out of the zoo, I think I'm pretty fine. But if I did come into contact with one, we are very dead, just like a polar bear, okay? Almost nothing we could do about it, I would say, realistically. These big animals look like they'd be slow, but they never are. They're so fucking fast, it's terrifying. Okay, next up, we have the box jellyfish, okay? This is one everyone's heard of for the most part. The humble, scary box jellyfish, okay? So they are located in northern Australia and the Indo-Pacific, right? And they have a very, very, very deadly toxin, okay? So they have what is called a Chironex fleckeri. I don't know how to say that, dude. It has 60 tentacles and they reach 10 feet long, which is, it sucked to get wrapped up in those, let me tell you. And they basically cause a sense of impending doom. It's called Urukanji syndrome, okay? And it basically causes excruciating muscle cramps and heart failure, right? So the pain is so intense that victims often drown from the shock before they can reach the shore. And they have 24 eyes, and though it's unclear how they process images without a central brain, they can still see, kind of, I guess, we think. Now, sea turtles are immune and actually eat them as their primary food source, which is pretty cool. So what do we think about the box jellyfish? Listen, if you go swim near Australia and in the Indo-Pacific, you are going and you hit one of these, right? And they wrap you up in their 10 tentacles, not really intentionally. They don't have the mind to like intentionally sting you. It's just kind of you accidentally make contact with them and then you die from the shock of being in so much pain and drown. So listen, another instance where we don't go in the ocean, we ain't gotta worry, baby. Next up, we got tigers, okay? Listen, tigers are pretty cool. I love them. They're awesome. People think that tigers are orange and they're like, oh my God, how would they possibly stand out or not stand out in the jungle? You know, they're orange. They should stand out against all the green. But realistically, what happens is most animals cannot see that orange color. They're like red colorblind, red-green colorblind. So the tiger actually looks green to them. And if you think about this, all of this striping and stuff would make them blend in perfectly with green if they were green instead of orange. So just picture tigers as green and you'll understand how they have perfect camouflage, okay? So they're in Asia, India, Southeast Asia, and Siberia. They are solitary ambush predators and basically called the ghosts of the jungle. They're the only big cats that love to swim and will hunt humans in water. They'll chase your ass from the land to the sea, okay? They will demolish you, man. There's just no way to get away from these guys. They roar, and that roar contains infrasound that they can literally paralyze their prey with fear. They roar with infrasound that can paralyze their prey with fear. That's terrifying. I did not know that about tigers. Listen, dude, okay, we got to do something about these guys. Workers will wear masks on the back of their heads, actually, because tigers won't attack you if they think that you're looking at them, because like I said before, they're ambush predators. They want to get the jump on you, so they wear masks on the back of their head to kind of make it look like they're looking at the tiger. Now, what do we think about tigers? Okay, again, no plans to go to Asia anytime soon or be in the jungle near a tiger. But I think this is another instance where, listen, if we get bit by it, I mean, so like some of these things, right? It's like, okay, if we got bit by a Brazilian wandering spider, we could probably survive, you know, because we could go get antidote, hopefully. But like if a tiger gets your ass, bro, the tiger's got you. You're not getting away from the tiger. Okay, next up, we have elephants. Yes, elephants. We love elephants, okay? They're very cute, but they're terrifying at the same time because they are huge, okay? So they're not found worldwide. That's the next animal. Okay, they're found in Africa and Southeast Africa. They have the ability to just flat out fucking crush you because they're massive, and they can gore you with their horns, which is basically where they ram you with their horns through you with their tusk, and you get impaled on an elephant tusk, which just sounds lovely. They have something called musth, M-U-S-T-H, and it's a hormonal surge in males that makes them pathologically violent, bro. They have a hormonal surge where they just fucking get roid raged out and start attacking shit and killing people, okay? That's terrifying. They've been known to raid villages and destroy crops and homes. They can flip a car or knock over a house with ease, and they're one of the few animals to understand PTSD and grief, which is very interesting and kind of sad in a way. But yeah, you don't want to fuck with an elephant. Again, though, only in Africa and Southeast Asia. So really not something you have to worry about in the US unless they escape from the zoo, I guess. But I'm going to put them in the very dead category also, because it's so unlikely that we ever come across one. But if we did, we'd be boned, okay? There's no shot. We just have no chance to kill an elephant, or, you know, it's not like the buffalo where I'm jumping on the back of the buffalo and steering it around. These guys in this very dead category, they see you and you're just fucking donezo. I think we're going to move the worm down a tier, okay? Next up, we have snakes, okay? Snakes are all over the world. They are very venomous and a huge threat, okay? Everybody knows snakes are bad. They have hemotoxins with like vipers and neurotoxins with like cobras and mambas and stuff. They will absolutely destroy your tissue and cause internal bleeding, or they cause your lungs to stop moving and basically paralyze you to death, paralyze your lungs and you stop breathing, okay? They're responsible for over 100,000 deaths annually, 100,000 deaths every year by snakes alone, okay? And the inland taipan has the most toxic venom, but the black mamba is most feared due to its speed. Okay, snakes can strike even after they have technically died, so they can like basically, I don't know if you've ever like seen a lizard's tail move, like after like a gecko's tail, it falls off and it wiggles around. They kind of have the same thing. So where they can still like reflexively bite you even though you're dead, which is horrifying. Okay. Now, snakes. What do we think about snakes? Snakes are super dead. Okay. Well, actually, I think we're gonna put snakes in kind of dead. Okay. While lots of snakes kill a lot of people, we do live in the United States. I think it would be pretty quick medical care. You know, I'm never too far. Like I literally live right next to a fire station. So it's very likely that I would be able to get to help if I got bit by a snake in a situation like that. And frankly, I'm not running around near snakes where, you know, I'm going to encounter one a lot. And also something I've never understood, why don't people just grab the snake by the tail and whip it around like this and then throw it? You know, like nobody ever thinks of that for some reason. Kind of dumb if you ask me. Next up, we have bees and wasps. Okay, we're putting them together as one animal. I know they're not the same animal, but listen, for the sake of the tier list, we're putting them in the same category. They are global. Okay, these little guys are everywhere, and they cause anaphylactic shock, which is basically where your body has an over response to an allergen, right? And that causes your immune system to basically kill your body. Essentially, you swell up, you shut down your blood, you know. Your blood pressure plummets. It's not good. But okay, you need to be stung about 1,000 times. Okay, you have to be stung like 1,000 times for the venom itself to kill you. But if you're allergic, it only takes one sting. Okay, that's the dangerous thing. And lots of people don't know they're allergic until it's too late, unfortunately. So hornets can mark a target with a pheromone that tells the rest of their hive to attack, which is really scary. And giant hornets can decapitate 40 honeybees in a minute. Is any of that relevant to their deadliness to humans? No, but I thought they were cool facts. Okay, cut me a little slack, right? Now, where on earth are we putting bees and hornets? I'm not allergic as far as I know. I have only been stung by a wasp. I have never been stung by a bee, but I'm going to say not dead or barely dead, okay, because there is a small risk for me. But again, just leave these guys alone, I found, and they don't really fuck with you, you know? It's one of those things where if you leave the bees alone, you leave the wasp alone, they don't attack you. The one time that I was stung by a hornet, I believe it was a wasp, actually, I had gone to the top of this like 20-foot diving board, right? And I was up there and I was kind of scared to be up there anyway. I was not that old. I mean, I was probably too old to be scared at being at the top of a diving board, but I was a little afraid. And I felt something on my neck and I turned around and went like this. And I looked and I had a fucking hornet in my hand and I had never been stung by a wasp or anything before. So I kind of freaked out, but I'm at the top of a diving board. And so I just feel it and I pull it out like the stinger. And I'm like, oh my God, I gotta like jump off of here. I don't know. And then I jumped off in the water and I was fine. But listen, it was quite the unique experience. Okay. Next up, we have the stonefish. The stonefish is located in the Indo-Pacific coastal waters, shallows, reefs, things like that. And they have 13 needle-sharp dorsal spines that run down their back and can inject venom into you. Now, they are also world-class at camouflage, as you can see, especially in this picture here. They look like rocks and dirt and stuff, so it's really easy to miss them, and you step on them, and man, the impact of stepping on one will cause cardiovascular collapse, okay? So essentially, the agonizing pain will lead you to be like delirious, and then your cardiovascular system will collapse. They look exactly like jagged rocks, like I said. And if you step on one, the venom is injected under the pressure of your own body weight. So it's pretty bad. Immersion in hot water, the hottest water you can get, will actually help a lot, okay? And the reason that is because it neutralizes the venom's protein. So these guys, while scary, I saw a guy on YouTube actually purposely, everybody knows the guy who gets stung by animals for fun, okay, and uploads that shit to YouTube. Guy's a boss, but I watched him get stung by one of these, and he dunked his hand in water and he was fine. It was really painful, but he was okay. So listen, as long as we can get to some really hot water, we'd be fine. So I'm going to say kind of dead, okay? This feels like it belongs in the category of these other things where if you can get immediate medical attention, you'll be all right. Unlike these guys here where, listen, once they get a hold of you, you're drunzo. And then these guys up here where it's just, they're so common, it's very likely that if you were to die by anything on this list, it would be one of these. Okay, next up. Oh, these ones are not good. Okay, these give me the heebie-jeebies, guys. These are not good. And it's going to be tapeworms. Okay, look at this. I can't even look at it, dude. I can't look at it. Look at the tapeworm this dude pulled out of him. That's disgusting. I can't do it. Oh my God, I can't do it. That's so gross. That's so gross. They're so gross. Anyway, they're found globally. Okay. They cause neurocystic cirrhosis. Okay, basically they kill the tissue of your body. So they travel from your gut to your brain, forming cysts, and the pressure, the tissue, blah, 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 all that. It causes seizures, blindness, and death, okay? You can get them by eating undercooked, measly pork. A single tapeworm can produce 1 million eggs per day, and they have no digestive system, so they just absorb food through their skin. These guys are horrible. Anybody can get a tapeworm. People have purposely injected themselves with tapeworms, or infected, I guess, maybe not injected, that's not the right word, infested themselves with tapeworms to lose weight, which is just fucking ridiculous, dog. Take some Ozempic, okay? Anyway, I think we're going to put these in barely dead, okay? While they do kill a lot of people, I feel like you can get treatment for these, especially in the US. You can take dewormer pills and stuff like that. It's not the end of the world. Okay, next up, I mean, if you just saw it, baby, we got the crocodile, okay? The crocodidly. The crocodidler. Africa, Asia, Australia, and the Americans. They death roll. They have the famous death roll where they chomp you and then they roll their body over, essentially twisting their prey. And what that does is it tears off your limbs, okay? Which is just awesome. They have the strongest bite force ever measured at 3,700 psi, which is just insane, okay? Their stomach acid is strong enough to dissolve bone and turtle shells, and they are the closest living relatives to dinosaurs. So where do we put the crocodile? Oh man, so we do live near crocodiles, right? The crocodiles do exist in the United States, which does put us into some very bad territory. However, you know, I'm going to put us in very dead, okay? Well, actually, kind of dead. So this is another thing, similar to the snake. Why don't people just kind of roll with the alligator at the same time and then it won't rip off your arm, okay? The alligator chomps your arm and he starts to do his death roll and you just go whoop with him and you don't get, you know, I don't know. They're not that big either. Some of them are, but most of them are pretty small. It's not that scary, guys. Listen, trust. Okay, next up, we have lions. Okay, everybody knows lions, but they're only in sub-Saharan Africa, okay? They have one small population in India, but I mean, they'll hunt you down as a pack, and they are the only truly social cats. But most human-lion conflict, it occurs at the edge of national parks, and I mean, where you basically have problem lions where they go purposely hunt human livestock, and that's where most of the encounters happen. So, frankly, if you can just avoid it being at the edge of a national park where lions are, you're probably pretty safe. However, similar to these other things where, like, you know, I don't know, it'd probably be pretty hard to get away from a lion. You basically have no shot of surviving one if you get into real contact with one. But unlike these down here, it's much harder to avoid them, okay? Listen, I know my tier list is a little janky here. Leave me alone. But finally, our final deadly animal is really a surprise, okay? You're not going to expect it. And it's the humble deer. Okay, yes, deer. And you're like, what? A deer? How are they dangerous? Okay, I've pet them. I go out in the woods by my house and I see deer all the time and I hand feed them, okay? Well, it's just that they live in such close proximity to human beings that they jump out in front of our cars and kill us, okay? They have a coordinated hit squad, essentially, of deers where they plan to jump in front of our vehicles to slaughter us and try and take over the world. Now, they're global. The vehicle collisions are what kill us. They are bolters, so when they get startled, they'll run into the road, not away from it, which is what gets them killed. And they kill more people in the United States than all other animals on this list combined. Yes, you heard me right. Deer kill more people on this list than every other animal combined, except maybe humans. I'm not sure about that one, okay? Oh, and excluding mosquitoes, okay? So even if we assume these two aren't included, that's so many other animals that deer alone are fucking, they're like a hit squad. I told you, they're killing so many of us. It's insane. Their populations have exploded because we've removed their natural predators, wolves and cougars. So look, that's not good. But here you go. Here's our final list of the most dangerous animals in the United States. Not the United States, the world, okay? The most dangerous animals in the world. We have deer, humans, mosquitoes, and dogs, which basically give you rabies at the top. And then we have polar bears, hippos, tigers, elephants, lions in the middle. And then the Brazilian wandering spider, a type of worm, snakes, the stonefish, crocodiles. Then we got the Cape buffalo, the assassin bug, the wasp and bees, and another type of worm. Oh, tapeworms. Not tapeworms. And then finally, in the not dead category, these are the animals you survive easily as long as you don't get near them in the water. And that's going to be sharks, snails, freshwater snails, the CC fly, cone snails, scorpions, golden dart frog, and box jellyfish. All right, there you go, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this tier list. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, I love you, and I'll see you in the next one.